Hey man, let's cut through the noise, through the lies you were raised on, all the scripts you were handed growing up, telling you how to win her over by being the nice guy, the honest guy, the one who lays it all out. Let's flip the script with one simple truth that changes everything. It's not about your looks, it's not your wallet, it's not whether you text her back fast, compliment her constantly, or show up with flowers. The real trait, the one that pulls her in, keeps her up at night thinking about you, and makes her crave your presence, is mystery. That's the edge, the silent magnet. And here's what no one ever told you. Mystery is more powerful than honesty. Not because you should lie, but because full, unfiltered transparency kills tension. When she knows everything about you, your thoughts, your past, your every move, the game ends before it even begins. There's nothing left to discover, no unknowns to stir curiosity. And here's the truth most men never hear. Women don't just want to know you, they want to uncover you. They want to feel like there's more beneath the surface, that every silence, every pause, every look might hold something they can't quite name. That's what keeps them intrigued, the feeling that there's always more to find. But you were taught the opposite. Be honest, be vulnerable, tell her how you feel. It sounds noble, but in practice it ruins the emotional rhythm. When you dump your intentions, your emotions, your desires right out of the gate, you kill the chase. You remove the tension, you become predictable, and the moment she can map you out completely, when your next move becomes obvious, that's when her interest fades. That's when she stops wondering, stops imagining, stops obsessing. You gave her the whole story too soon, and she closed the book. But mystery isn't about being fake. It's about restraint. It's about knowing your value enough to understand that not everything about you needs to be on display. Women don't fall for what's obvious. They fall for what feels just out of reach. The man who reveals himself slowly, piece by piece, without rushing, without over-explaining, he holds her mind. Not the guy sending midnight paragraphs about his past or spilling his soul on the second date. That kind of vulnerability too early isn't intimacy, it's emotional leakage. And here's the part that flips everything. When you stay mysterious, she starts filling in the blanks herself. She imagines, she projects, she creates a story about who you are. And the version she builds in her mind is almost always more powerful than anything you could have said. She convinces herself you're deeper than you let on, more confident than you show, more valuable than you reveal. Because you didn't try to prove it, she felt it. And when a woman feels something, she believes it harder than if you had just told her straight. That's the trick most men miss. They explain too much, too fast. They want to be understood, validated, accepted. But a high-value man, he doesn't rush to explain himself. He doesn't feel the need to fill every silence or justify his thoughts. He lets her sit with questions. He lets her wonder. And that wonder, that gap between what she knows and what she thinks she knows, is where attraction lives. Because a woman can only truly fall for a man she doesn't fully understand. Why? Because women don't chase what's certain, they chase possibility. They don't want a man whose soul is laid out like a spreadsheet. They want depth, ambiguity, something she can feel but not quite grasp. She wants to sense that there's still more to uncover, that you're still unfolding, that behind your steady eyes there's a fire she hasn't touched yet. The moment she thinks she has you figured out, the moment you become completely predictable, her curiosity dies. And when curiosity dies, desire follows. That's the truth most men never see coming, because the guys who overshare early on, who lay their story bare in an attempt to build closeness, end up smothering the very spark they're trying to ignite. They think they're creating connection, but what they're actually doing is killing the intrigue. Let her earn your story. Let her work to understand you. Let her peel you back, layer by layer, like chapters in a novel she can't stop reading. Don't hand her the ending on the first page. Give her a reason to keep turning. Because women don't treasure what comes easily. They value what's revealed slowly, deliberately, and with intention. And here's the deeper truth. When she has to work to understand you, when she's not quite sure where she stands, not sure what you're thinking, she becomes invested, emotionally, mentally, even physically. That's not manipulation, that's standard, that's self-respect, that's understanding that your energy, your presence, your vulnerability, Those are not free samples, they are earned. Quick break, close your eyes for a second. Picture her, the girl you've always wanted. Feel what it would be like to actually have her. Now open your eyes, because here's the truth. Right now, you're invisible to her. You're getting outcompeted by guys with more money, better looks, higher status, and stronger game. You're playing a rigged game, and you're losing. But I've spent the last 35 years mastering this, studying, testing, and finally finding the secrets to get the girls I always wanted. You want to stop getting ignored? You want her chasing you? Then you need to wake up and act. Click the link in the comments if you are truly committed and take the first step toward becoming that guy. Few spots left. Be fast or miss out your last chance to make her yours. Let's get back to it. And when she earns them, she values them. She sees them as rare, precious. But when you hand it all over at the first sign of attention, when you spill your heart too soon, when you give too much too fast, she walks away confused, wondering why she ever felt anything in the first place. Mystery doesn't mean being cold, fake, or robotic. It doesn't mean playing games. It means being intentional, saying just enough to spark interest, but not enough to satisfy it, leaving small gaps for her to step into, letting her sit in the delicious tension of the unknown. And most men can't handle that. They get anxious. They want to fix, to explain, to impress. So they overtalk, overtext, overexpress. They chase validation instead of creating mystery. And in doing that, they kill the magic before it even has a chance to breathe. They try to leap past the tension and land in comfort. But comfort without mystery? That's not attraction, that's friendship. That man owns the room, not because he's the loudest, not because he demands attention, but because he's difficult to read. There's something about him that pulls people in. He doesn't chase eyes, yet eyes follow him. He doesn't beg for attention, but he gets it anyway. Women especially notice. They pause, they lean in, they analyze, they try to make sense of him. And that curiosity, that mental fixation, that's the core of feminine attraction. It doesn't grow from neediness. It doesn't blossom from transparency. It doesn't thrive in clarity. It thrives in wonder. It grows in uncertainty, in tension, in the spaces where her questions echo unanswered. When she starts thinking, what is he thinking? What does he feel? Where do I stand? That's when the obsession begins. That's when she starts chasing. Not because you manipulated her, not because you played childish games, but because you didn't hand her the cheat code. You let her feel the story rather than spoon-feeding it. You let her experience the unknown, and that's what hooks her. Look at the most magnetic men history remembers. James Bond, Bruce Wayne, Tyler Durden. These men weren't running around confessing their emotions to anyone who would listen. They weren't over-explaining. They weren't begging to be understood. They were wrapped in mystery, that air of something more, that sense that even if you got close, you'd still never quite figure them out. And that made them dangerous, alluring, unforgettable. It's not the words they said, it's the energy they carried, the restraint, the confidence, the discipline. That's the energy women crave, even if they can't always explain why. Compare that to the man who's always available, always texting back in seconds, always pouring his heart out, always trying to explain, to clarify, to reassure. She might like him, she might appreciate his effort, but she doesn't feel him in her body. He doesn't stir her. Why? Because he's given her no space to wonder, no reason to lean forward, no tension. And attraction cannot breathe without tension, because tension only exists in the unknown. It lives in the unsaid, the implied, the felt but not shown. And that tension is electric. When she's not sure if she has you, when she's trying to read between the lines, when she's playing the mental game of decoding your intentions, that's where power is born. That's where desire takes root. That's exactly what women find irresistible. Not the man who lays all his cards on the table right away, but the one who makes her earn every piece of him. Mystery taps into something ancient, something primal within a woman. It's not about conquest or control. It's about the thrill of unlocking a secret, decoding the unknown, and slowly discovering what's hidden beneath the surface. When you hand her every answer too soon, you strip away the one thing that keeps her emotionally hooked. Curiosity. But when you hold back just enough to make her wonder who you really are, what you're thinking, how you truly feel, she dives in deeper. She begins to invest more emotionally, she pushes herself to understand you better, and she brings more of herself into the mix. Suddenly, she's not just reacting to your presence, she's actively chasing your energy. This is the subtle but powerful shift where the balance of power flips in your favor. And most men don't even realize it's happening. You can spot the guy who misses this completely by how quickly he opens up to the wrong woman, by how fast he confesses his feelings, or by how eagerly he insists. I just want to be honest with you. His intentions might be pure, but the outcome is predictable. She pulls away, not because she's cruel or heartless, but because the fantasy, the beautiful unknown, was shattered too soon. He gave her all the answers before she even had the chance to ask the questions. He revealed everything before she was emotionally prepared to receive it. And that kind of honesty, rather than building connection, ends up killing the tension. Because without mystery, there's no magic left. Let her wonder where you are. Let her feel your silence. Let her sit with uncertainty without rushing to fix it. Here's the thing most men never truly understand. Women fall in the spaces between your words. They bond in the quiet moments. They crave the not knowing. When you're always available, always replying instantly, always checking in, you stop being a captivating mystery and instead fade into the background noise of her life. But here's the real power move. The moment you pull back, the moment you create space and leave a meaningful pause, that's when she begins to truly feel something. She starts to think, to question, to wonder. That's where the spark ignites, that subtle fire of attraction that can't be manufactured through constant attention or desperate reassurance. True attraction is born from strategic absence, from giving her just enough room to fill in the blanks with her imagination. Now, I'm not talking about playing childish games or being distant just to confuse her. This isn't about manipulation or mind games. It's about owning your value fully and refusing to throw it away carelessly. Stop handing over your time, your energy, your emotions on a silver platter, hoping she'll notice how valuable you are. You're not a product on a shelf that needs to be sold with constant pitches. You're not a service to be justified or explained. You're the prize, the rare reward, the hidden level in the game that she has to work to unlock. And here's the truth. That requires effort. That's not arrogance. It's confidence rooted in self-respect. It's not cruelty. It's discipline and strength. Because when you give away your attention, your affection, your story too quickly, too early, she doesn't value it the way she would if she had to earn it. She takes it for granted. She treats it like something ordinary. But when she works for it, when she earns your time, your trust, your presence, she holds it like treasure. It becomes something special, something worth protecting. So don't be the guy who spills his heart after the first date. Don't be the man who maps out his entire future after just a week together. Don't give away the keys to your soul simply because she smiled or said something nice. Instead, make her wonder, make her question what's really going on inside your mind. Let her feel the weight of your silence. Let her study you from a distance, trying to figure out who you really are beneath the surface. That tension, that mystery, that's your power. That's what makes you unforgettable, irreplaceable. Because while every other guy is handing out his attention like candy, you're offering her something far rarer and far more valuable. The chance to discover something real, something worth fighting for. And when she invests her energy into unraveling your mystery, she commits. She doesn't just want you for the surface level attraction. She values you on a deeper, mental, emotional level. Mental attraction is the kind that lasts. Physical attraction fades with time as beauty changes and emotions shift. But when a woman sees you as a challenge, as an enigma, as someone who stirs feelings deeper than simple clarity ever could, you occupy a permanent place in her thoughts. You live rent-free in her mind. That's the difference. You're not just another guy. You're an experience, a presence she can't forget. She'll always remember how you made her feel when she didn't fully understand you. This isn't about manipulation or deceit. It's about realism. It's about accepting the nature of human psychology, that overexposure doesn't create value, it destroys it. The more available you are, the less valuable you appear. The more you talk, the less your words weigh. The more you give, the less it's appreciated. Mystery isn't a cheap trick or a gimmick. It's a form of respect. Respect for yourself and your energy. A refusal to let yourself be consumed without something in return. Because when you become that mystery, when you cultivate that space, you stop chasing women, they chase you. If there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this: clarity kills curiosity. And without curiosity, there is no tension. Without tension, there's no obsession. Without obsession, there's no deep emotional investment. So stop believing that honesty alone will win her heart. Honesty has its place, but mystery is what builds the real, lasting bond. Let her decode your silences. Let her ask herself what you're really feeling. Let her work to earn your attention. That's when you become unforgettable, not because you said the cleverest thing or made the biggest gesture, but because you left her wondering what you didn't say. Here's the final truth, brother. Learn this once and you'll never chase women again. Learn this once and you'll become the kind of man who commands attention effortlessly, without begging or pleading. Learn this once and you'll realize the guys who always talk, always explain, always overshare are the ones who get forgotten. Meanwhile, the silent, mysterious men haunt her thoughts long after the conversation ends. Mystery over honesty, not because you're hiding, but because you've leveled up. You've grown beyond the need to lay everything bare. You understand now, she doesn't fall for the guy who gives it all away. She falls for the man who lets her earn every piece of him, slowly, intentionally, and with undeniable power. That's the path to winning, every single time. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. If this message spoke to you or gave you something to think about, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new drop. I've got more real talk, more growth, and more power coming your way. So stay locked in. And if you're going through something right now, just remember, your silence can say more than 1,000 words ever could. Take care of yourself, keep rising, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.